new moon in Pisces. Oh my god. Okay, so welcome to the reading this week. We got the new moon in Pisces. I appreciate you understanding my missing the video last week. I've been running, man. I've been running. And then Pisces season comes in, Pisces new moon comes in, the Mercury retrograde comes in, and it's a lot. It's a lot of energy, a lot of emotions, a lot of feelings and things that come up during this time. And just wishing everyone the best as they maneuver through that. I know it's been definitely a lot for me personally. I'm just like the type of person that likes to keep things moving, you know? I have a lot of things going on in my mind and a lot of things that I would like to accomplish, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you have to sleep and you have to take time, and that has to be okay sometimes. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to stay healthy and happy and maintain your life in the way that you want to. So while logically I understand this, emotionally I am very frustrated and anxious, and I'm grateful for what these cards have to say to give a little perspective on that and perspective on how we can move through a time which may or may not be difficult. Some people are having a grand old time, not really fazed by any of this stuff. And I salute you all. You're beautiful people, and I am appreciative of you, and I am not there. So for anybody who is feeling sleepy, feeling anxious, feeling a little overextended or overwhelmed, I feel you, I'm here for you, and I feel you. So I'll start with the Three of Cups we got here. Three of Cups, water element card, has to do with how we feel about things, how we get in touch with our heart chakra, and how we emotionally move through things, what we are drawn to and what we are repelled from. And as I have mentioned on many videos, the 1 through 10 in the minor arcana are kind of the arc of a story in that element. This element being the water element. So the 3 is the first time that you have solidity, you have a shape, because the 1 is just a point, the 2 is a line, and the 3 becomes a triangle. And so when you start to have solidity in your emotional realm, you are able to do more. You're able to come up with more ideas of what it is that you even want to do. What are you passionate about? How do you have time, energy, and space to even move through your emotional realm instead of just working or just thinking or just doing? How can you really sit in your emotional realm? And the answer is support. Supporting yourself, supporting others, finding others that support you, mutual aid, symbiosis with people, with your environment, with animals, what have you. And like in this card, you can interpret it as sunrise or sunset, but either way, it's the transition from one to another, the night to dark, or dark to night, or light. And then these little 3 birds that are hanging out together, and birds that hang out together like starlings or crows or anything like that. What are they doing that for? Because community supports them and supports each other, because when they flock together, they have more safety in numbers. They have more ability to get what they need and share it with each other. And so this is an opportunity to really think about, like, not just isolating yourself. And not everybody's isolating themselves, but I am, and I have been. Not that that's a bad thing, because sometimes I just need to sleep and I don't really have any choice other than that. But sometimes you really need to put yourself out there and find who is there to support you. And I feel very blessed that I happen to live with a lot of people, and some of them are really good friends of mine, and I get to hang out with them, and I get to share support, share things with each other, and it's a real blessing. And I want to invite anybody who's watching this, or you can tell your friends, or you can reach out to your community, the people around you, and really just figure out, like, how can we support each other? How can we be in most support of each other? And how can we move energy in that way of, like, taking care of each other more and understanding, like, the necessity of mutual aid and partnerships and collective care? Because we're running up on some times where we're not going to really have any choices. We're just going to have each other, and that's it. So let's figure it out. Let's put one foot in front of the other and start to figure out, like, who is supporting us, who is working with us, who do we have trust and community and mutual aid with. Like, really think about these things and think about who you're sharing your energy with and what you're sharing your energy with, and get right with what feels good to you. And the Three of Cups is asking you to, like, be receptive and listen to that. Be open to what feels good for you, and then go with it. And if it doesn't feel good for you, then time to get out. This card, Arnyak, is a orange and reddish card. So I'm attributing this to the root chakra and the sacral chakra. So it's about how we're grounded in ourselves, grounded in our body, grounded in our environment and our community, and how we're creating and how we're moving our energy. And at the bottom says energy of the ancients. And so that's really speaking to this lesson that's been coming up for me a lot as I dive a little bit more into history, and I'm learning a little bit more because fortunately I have the time and access to availability of ways of learning that work for me and the mode of which that I learn things. I'm learning that we are truly, truly trying to heal our ancestors' wounds through our physical bodies currently. And there's so much trauma in all of humanity at this point. And we are a globalized world that is colonized largely by white supremacy and capitalism. And we have to do better. Like, we have to do better lest we all go extinct. And you know what? Honestly, it's just the worst part about that is going extinct looks more like impoverished people suffering more and more and more, while wealthy people build space stations and try to leave the planet that they contributed to destroying. No, it's not going to work. It's not like, yeah, some people might go to Mars, you know, good for y'all, whatever. But if I have my say about it, nobody's going nowhere. Like, we're going to hash this out. We're going to figure this out. Or, you know what? You could go. I don't care. People who don't want to be on Earth anymore, like, could y'all just leave and leave us alone and let us work on what we need to work on so that we're not constantly repeating history over and over and over again? Like, how many times do we have to go through intense, horrible, murderous fascism before we decide that this isn't the right way? Or how many times do we have to just repeat slavery until we realize that this isn't good and this isn't actually working to the benefit of the collective global community? This is what our ancestors really want us to think about. Like, can we invest our energy and our capital into ourselves, into healing, into not repeating the same tired historical things of destroying each other from the inside out? It's a question. It's a question that I obviously don't have the answer to, and it's completely predicated on whether or not we are able to have the time, space, and energy to do the work. So I pray that we do. I pray that you do. I pray that I do. I think that as much as it frustrates me to not be able to be as productive as maybe I want to be, I also understand that it doesn't hurt me to sleep once in a while, and it doesn't hurt to take care of yourself, and it doesn't hurt to replenish your own energy so that you might show up in the best way possible after you're done resting. So take care of yourselves, because you taking care of yourself is ultimately taking care of your ancestors and turning things around. And that's really the best that we can hope for, because as far as the more that I learn, the more that I think maybe there's not actually hope for us, and we're just going to be doomed to repeat the same bullshit over and over again. And if so, that's where we are. But I'm definitely going to do whatever work that I can do to honor the ancestors who fought so hard to get me here. And this last card, the Elephant card, and I've definitely pulled this card before, Fire Element card, and also this majestic, beautiful, royal, matriarchal creature, the elephant. This amazing animal. You can learn so much from them in the way that they bulldoze, they pave the way for other species to actually exist. And I think that this is a really important lesson to think about with the elephant, that we right now, with the choices that we make today, in whatever it is that we're doing, whatever it is that our life has taken us to, we are making the choices now that will affect the future generations. And we have to take that more seriously. That has to, the protection of the earth, the protection of the resources, the protection of life itself has to be taken more seriously. And I know that it's easy to like dissociate from that when you're in a space of just trying to survive. And we have to understand that there's lots of cultural aspects that are worked into the psychology of our media or what have you, like how we're connecting with each other, that wants us to be disempowered. And the elephant is saying, hey, you can take the power into your own hands by pushing through regardless, by choosing to make the choices that not only benefit yourself, but benefit the herd, so to speak. And by not being ruled by this extreme patriarchy that wants to just crush everything. It's not about crushing everything. It's about uplifting each other and being empathetic and being understanding and working together, and also like just owning the responsibilities that you have. You have a responsibility to yourself. You have a responsibility to the people that you care about, to the people who are invested in your livelihood, just as you should hopefully be invested in others' livelihood, because ultimately mutual aid is everything. And I've said this over and over and over again, but literally mutual aid is the only thing that we actually have, especially as this whole, like this sucking of resources, whether those resources are human resources or resources from the earth, it's being extracted in a way that is unsustainable, and we have to make different choices. And so every day, the choice to take care of yourself is a choice to take care of the larger world. And then taking care of the larger world is a choice to take care of yourself. So both are the same, both are important, and I hope that we are all tapping into these things, because we're gonna need them. And Then when Aries season comes, pshoo,